everybody, it's Shelly Lewis. I'm here with Jamie Lee from
Hello.
AplaneTruth.info, and so we're headed into the FEMA camps, and it sounds like this is a huge story. Jamie, what do you want me to turn it around for them? Show them?
No, we're going to go right up here. The Office of Emergency Services has been set up here right outside of Chico, and it's a massive operation. I just drove down the road. There's many, you can see the white truck coming out right here. There's many white trucks that are coming out this road. So we'll drive down a little bit, but I already went down once and I don't want them chasing me. But right up here you can see the sign, the Office of Emergency Services here. Paradise is right over the hill to the east of where we're at. So we can see over here where all the lights, they just turned them all on. And there's a car coming out here, so I'm going to wait. But we can get a picture from right over here. You can pause it for a sec.
Okay.
These stories are, I just hope I got
I don't know how to do like a reverse thing here. I'm trying to shoot. How do you do it there? Okay. All right, so we're in the town. What town are we in, Jamie?
We're in Chico, California, and Paradise is right behind where we're going to shoot the... Whoa, don't go in the creek, sorry.
Okay, no problem.
Talking to her at the same time. Can I do that? Yes, I can. Boo, boo, boo. And we'll get a shot right here. So Paradise is up where the clouds are, up in the hill right there. And then all those lights, if you can see those lights in the background, that's the entire FEMA camp. Office of Emergency Services, they just set up down this dirt road. And that's a big operation. There's like 20, 30 big semi-trailers set up. And then if you can watch here for a second, we'll sit here and I bet you we see cars, trucks, white unmarked trucks and passenger vans coming through that are being set up here at the FEMA camp of Vermont, and what their staging area is. And they're planning on being here for quite some time. And this is like right in the backyard of where this all happened. Paradise is closed. There's no access to it. You have to go around back roads. These guys I just interviewed, they were going in through back roads to get in there. One guy is a tow truck guy, so he's allowed access. And he's telling some absolutely horrific, incredible stories about what went down here. That hopefully I got it on record.
Pastor Nate Wolf says, be safe, guys. Hey, everybody who's watching. So just to give a, can you tell us a little bit, Jamie, when you went to the Walmart where there were some camp people supposedly supposed to be there?
I haven't been to Walmart yet, but what the story's told is that the people at Walmart there's no refugees that went there because there really wasn't any people to refuge, and what they filled them up with was homeless people from Chico. And the camp got filled up with homeless people, and that's where you saw the encampment of all the people. But the people I just interviewed, 4 separate people, and you can see the cars, film over here, see them going in, they're all unmarked. These ones coming in and out, they're all unmarked. This is FEMA, just moving in and out. I mean, this is serious traffic.
Oh, look at this guy.
Yep, and that's emergency operations, white car, unmarked, so they're going in and out of this road here, and this is their staging operation for the federal government, just like came in from Santa Rosa after the fires back in October of last year. And so this is their setup operation for, federal government, and the federal government. And to a person that I interviewed, or the 4 people I interviewed, they all said they're non-local police and they're militarized. They're all militarized in blue. And they said the FEMA's all in blue, and the federal government has taken over the area, closed off the area, no one's allowed in, and they've never seen, these guys have grown up here and they've never seen the types of vehicles. They said there's MRAPs here, the Afghanistan, Iraqi military machines are everywhere. We're going to go down to the Walmart and see. They said they're staged down there. We can see them all. But people around here are spooked. They know something huge has happened. They know the story. They're missing people. There's a bunch of people they haven't found. But they're not posting on Facebook. They're not Twitter, and they're not responding to anything. And then the story is being told is that people were literally fried in their cars that were parked on the road that couldn't get out, and they literally were charred in their cars, including a school bus of children, which is horrific. And it's horrible what's happened to this town. It's been destroyed, and the body count is bullshit. They said 1,200 people, now they're down to 200, and these guys are saying there's no way anybody got out. We went there. We were in there. One guy had to go get his motorcycle, and they got caught in a wall of flames where he was at, and people tried to kick him off his motorcycle to steal his motorcycle and he had to bust through fences. He had to break in through a home and drive his Honda through a house and through the woods to get out. and people were running after him, following behind him, and then he saw a wall of flames, and he didn't think they got out. And they're not doing body counts, and the bodies were vaporized. Their words, not mine. They were vaporized, they said. And one of the guys that was a first-person witness said he went by a row of cars on Skyway, and the cars that were all parked because the police told them to get out of their cars. And then because the cars weren't moving, but they only had one lane open, so nobody could move. And the people and then they were gone. I mean, it's just insane what has happened here, and it's not anything that I've ever seen or heard about before. But they said these storms were unusual. We got these pictures here of lasers. We've got pictures of blue lights. The evidence is overwhelming, and these people here are in shock. The tow truck driver said that he went in there. He's been in there several times, and he's seen the bodies that were basically, he looked inside, and he was looking inside for bodies and couldn't quite see them, and then they were down low, the ones that weren't vaporized, because the springs had melted, and they were basically melted into the seats. As grotesque as that sounds, these are first-person testimonies, and hopefully I got it on record, but we'll be publishing that shortly as soon as I get it powered up and downloaded and out to everybody. And then while we were there, one of the guys that was talking, here's another white truck.
He's just standing there. Look,
he's watching you. He's watching us.
Do we need to go somewhere?
Yeah, put it down.
I'm not allowed to record.
You can record, but he's going to follow us. Let's see if he follows.
Oh, is he?
Oh, sit there. He might be calling somebody.
Is he following? Is he behind us?
No, he's just sitting there.
Okay.
And the people just are trying to find people, and there's no help. There's nobody to help them, and we don't have any working for us. They said the police, they're non-local police. That's what they keep saying. They said they're not our guys. They also said the town of Paradise is one of the most corrupted towns they've ever known, and they grew up here.
Well, that one, they were talking about how they changed the lanes from a 4-lane road to 2-lane road.
Right, diet lane. So but on the access, on people getting out, they had one lane. Just cars were parked, and they only had one lane open, and so they could only get out through one lane, and people were just sitting in their cars, and just they got fried in their cars. And there was another story about got a car down to a Skyway, and they were in town, and the car just got torched. He saw the car just got hit, and it just got torched with the people inside. These are first-person accounts. People saying that that's what they saw. How much notice did they have? None. There was no warnings. The warning systems is Nextly or whatever you sign up for. Nobody. They were all signed up for them, and nobody got any warnings. The only people that got out were the people that were first awake and saw it and left. And this lady I interviewed, Daniela, she got out early with her boyfriend because she got up to take a pee at 3:30 in the morning, and she saw something happening, and so she actually got up, and then she left, and she got out, but she's telling the same story. She's in Magalia, which is right above Paradise, and she got out, but she says others didn't make it, and all the roads were shut off. There was only one way out, and so people. They were talking about all the people up here like Dukes of Hazzard people. They knew how to drive off road. So the people that got out were the people that drove off road, but there was no warning. There was no police telling them to get out. I mean, the stories are just like something I've never experieed before.
What's this right here? Is this a new home development?
It's just a trailer. See if this car's following me or not.
Okay. Are they letting any reporters in to the camps?
Oh no. In fact, one guy that told us the story was telling us first-person story about everything that was happening and the bodies being vaporized in the car as he was driving his motorcycle. His buddy called up because his buddy saw the flashes of light. He actually saw the laser flashes coming down the beams. They said the beams were so bright, the blue, that they couldn't see it. It blinded them. And so he called up his buddy to tell him, and his buddy put him off a speakerphone, and he got off, and he says, I can't tell you what he said, but I'm going to tell you anyway. He says, they came and threatened me if I talk.
Whoa.
So they don't want this stuff getting out. They're controlling the message. Paradise, the entire town of Paradise is blocked off with military police. You can't get in. And the only way you can get in is through the back way. So they're controlling the whole narrative. They're going to sweep it, clean it, just like they did in Santa Rosa. sterilize it, and then they're going to tell the story, and they're not doing body counts. But there's thousands and thousands, if not tens of thousands of people who these people are saying, these 4 people I interviewed, which we'll publish, are saying that they perished.
Lori says forest fires don't work like that. They start very small with plenty of warning. This is wrong on so many levels. Agreed. Stay safe. Hey guys, it's Shelly Irwin. We're actually in Chico, and I'm with Jamie Lee from AplaneTruth.info, and we're driving down by the FEMA camps, and the stories Jamie's going to download once he gets his battery set up. He's going to download some of his interviews and get this out there. So it's pretty crazy.
And to a person, they said this was not a fire. To a person, they know that this was an attack. They all said this is murder. They all said, these are people that were in it. One guy was in it for 50 hours. His tires burned. They said the asphalt melted. They couldn't get out because the asphalt melted, so they had to go off-road. He said these fires were sparking one place and another. The trees weren't burning at all. Another important thing, the tow truck driver who's been in there several times to pick up cars that are charred with bodies in them, he said that there's white powder on top of the trees. Another huge indication that these were directed energy weapons. And so this white powder that's on top of the trees, he's got pictures of, and we're going to post those as well. And so we're dealing with a crime scene, no doubt about it. And there's a big story to tell. These people are having stress and post-traumatic stress syndrome. They're missing people. And I came up here because they called me up to tell their stories. There's 2 other people that knew I was up here, and they want to be interviewed, and they want to tell their stories as well. And they're heroes, man. They're trying to get the word out to others that this is happening, it's real, and that we've been attacked, just like we were in Santa Rosa, just like Redding, just like Malibu. And I hear that Eastern Australia has caught major fires. Maybe it's Western. Something like 83 fires just ignited overnight. And so we got to wake up, folks. We really got to wake up to what's going on here. And those of you who don't want to believe, when you see in the pictures and you hear these first-person interviews, I doubt you'll be not believing anymore, because these people are highly credible. They just experienced it. This started 2-3 weeks ago. And again, there's nobody helping them. There's no military coming to help them. There's only military to prevent them from getting into the areas back to their homes. They cannot go back into their homes. They're not allowed to go and see what's there. And so the missing people, all they can do is file a missing people report, and then the DNA people are supposedly saying this is your family member or this is not, and they have to totally rely on the forensics of FEMA to determine whether or not their family members are there or not. They have no way of going back and finding out because they're not allowed in. And boy, it's a big story, folks.
Can this guy be followed? Yeah, how can they get it? It's JME Lee, April, JME Lee. He has a YouTube channel, AplaneTruth, PLANE, truth.info. And he's going to be uploading all his, I mean, there's so much backstory to this he's already posted. So I really encourage you guys, go watch those videos. He's on YouTube, correct. Watching you guys in Alabama, please be careful. I pray God's protection. Thank you, Dana. Thanks, everybody. Let's see.
Look at all the utility trucks right there.
Yeah, you guys see all those utility trucks right there?
Look at them all parked right there.
Oh my gosh.
This is right down from Office Emergency Services. There's probably 40 utility trucks right here in front of us, right in our face, right down the road. This is the same thing that happened in Santa Rosa. They had all the utility trucks lined up. And, whoa, sorry.
Jesus. Okay, we almost got in an accident. We survived that. Oh, Lord. Okay.
Not another disaster. So we're going to go in here and see what's up. Let's go have a little fun.
Yeah.
Keep the camera a little bit lower. Let's see what this is all about. So when we do investigative reporting, you want to tip your hand. So if I tell a little fib, folks, please forgive me, because we're just trying to understand what's going on.
Do you want me to turn it around on them?
No, just get it right here so we can hear it. You can film this all. You can take a shot right there. That's it. So this is a staging area, and then we're going to head down to the Walmart, and and see if we have the military wraps, the MRAPs from Afghanistan are supposedly parked all there, and all the refugees that were supposed to be there have been moved or relocated or have never existed. We're told that the homeless people in Chico moved into the Walmart staging areas that they set up. So that's who we saw with all the tents and the camps and whatnot. But these people said we would know if they made it out, because they would be calling us, and they're not getting the people that they're missing. They're not in contact. They haven't heard from them. One was this guy's sister. And
well, when we were at the Denver conference, remember that lady? Yeah,
in fact, they've contacted me just recently, Cindy and I forget the other lady's name, and I asked them, and they said they're waiting for DNA forensic evidence in order for them to identify their mother, who they know is dead.
Because these people, again, had no warning, and there's 27,000 supposed people in this town, and there's only a 2-lane road.
They said 27,000 is low. It's more like 35,000. They said they've undercut the numbers significantly of how and these guys grew up here from birth. They know this area very, very well. One guy owns a concrete asphalt company. He had the road burn out right from under him, where his tires lost air pressure because the rubber burned, and he had to go back and get his Honda motorcycle to get him and his dog out. And because the fires hit him so hard, he had to literally go through chain link fences and go through wood fences, and he had to break through a house with his freaking motorcycle in order to escape. And then people tried to kick him off his motorcycle that were on foot, that had left their cars, trying to get him off to escape the flames. They were trying to actually kick him off his motorcycle to save themselves. And then they started following the path he was blazing through the house, through the fences and everything. And then he saw a wall of flames go up behind him, and he doesn't think they made it. But he says there's no looting going on. That's absolute bullshit. They've got the total paradise all locked down. It's just lies upon lies, and this is the game they're playing with us, folks. St. Ignatius, they're setting the world on fire, and they're using directed energy weapons to do that. And there's no doubt about it anymore. I mean, no trees were burnt. I showed them the pictures that I posted on my one of my Paradise series. I think it was number 14. There's no houses are completely torched, and the trees are fine.
Okay, so you got some comments, Jamie. Lori says, thank you. Mike Wilson says, I just started watching this about Jade Helm 15 and all the Walmart closing FEMA camps. Hello from the East Coast, by the way. Hey, Mike, thanks for that comment. So Lori says, tell him thanks. Tell him thanks. AplaneTruth is an excellent YouTube channel. It is, right? Yes, JME Lee. That's correct, April. It's crazy, you guys.
So say a prayer for these people, and we're going to get the tribes. We're going to help them. I just went to the FEMA center and tried to deliver clothes to people as kind of like checking it out, and they told me that there's no delivery place that we can take clothes to. There's no setup. They don't know of any place to help. So if they're emergency services and you're trying to help, and they have 20 semi-trailers and these big encampments, and they're telling you there's nothing you can do, what does that tell you, folks? What does that tell you? You know, and so, you know, it's just this is why we have to investigate things ourselves, first-person accounts, and get there very soon after these things happen, so we can record it before the narrative gets set in stone. And again, the Santa Rosa fires, where I was in California a year ago, October 8th, 2017, October 9th, 170 fires in 9 different counties started that night. And the fire chief, Ken Pimlott, the head of CAL FIRE, has only explained away 13 out of the 170 fires. And also the 4 people I interviewed today, to a person, said there's no way these were power lines. We live in the country. The power lines weren't even there. Some of the people were off the grid that got hit as well. So the whole smart meter conversation that these are starting, that's wrong. That is not what is happening here. These are weapons from above. They use your GPS coordinates. They can even use your smartphone to locate you and hit you, or they can use even your credit card chip. The chips in your credit cards now, we're learning that those can be the RFIDs can be used to locate and identify. But this went on much longer than they're telling you. The gentleman I was speaking to originally, well, I'm not going to use their names, I'm not going to use their faces, you will hear their voices because I don't want to get them in trouble, that he said that he was there for 50 hours. This thing went on and on and on. I mean, they wanted the whole place gone. And they've done it. Now they got it locked down, and nobody's able to go in there. And except for the drone footage I have on my video I just posted from the sky, you can see these were massive dark clouds that came out of nowhere. And then some others, like Mike Morales, is posting showing how this started out of the middle. This tower came out of the middle of paradise and went up miles into the sky, because you can see it. His name's Mike Morales, Morales. And Mike Morales is showing you on his videos, which I have in one of my videos there, that this tower went up when it started and you can see Lake Tahoe, which is 11 miles by 22 miles, and the shadow of the column that went up over Paradise was bigger than Lake Tahoe. So that means at least Tahoe's 22 miles long by 11 miles wide. So that means these columns were somewhere between 10 and 20 miles tall of what they hit Paradise with initially. And then the cloud formation went, what they call fire, went south and went east. And to a person, including myself, say, we grew up in California. There's no weather that goes freaking east because we got 12,000 foot Sierras. No way that happens. There's no way that happens. And then all of a sudden, for 8-9 days, we had a dome over us all over the Bay Area, all the way down past San Jose and all the way up to Eureka. They had put a dome over us, which was a heavy-duty fog that they said was caused by these fires, but they had no smoke smell whatsoever. They canceled schools. But this was an attack, folks. I'm sorry, but we're under attack. I can't make it any clearer, and I'm sorry I'm being so straight up, but it is what it is, and we have to wake up.
So I got some comments, Jamie. It says, I just started watching this about Jade Helm 15. Okay, I read that. Stay safe. Tom, saw a video from the Malibu fires, and this guy was driving through the aftermath, and you can tell a dew was used by how the cars were lined up. Been watching Jamie for years. Personal, daily. That's Christopher Brady.
Hi, Chris.
Prayers go up. Thanks, Lori. Melissa, warring angels surround you in Jesus' name. Thank you so much. Well, crazy times. Tom Oberg, scalar winds.
Yeah, they were saying that there was no storms. The winds came out of nowhere. They were talking. They're also. It's a good point. They were talking about the winds, and they said the winds were circular. There was no winds before. The winds came up, and they were circular winds, which dovetails perfectly with the ionized laser weapons that need to excite the molecules to create the tornado effect, the vortex effect, in order for them to excite the laser particles in order to direct the beams. And they all said the winds came from the east. It was circular around us. It came out of nowhere, and then it stopped, and it came out of nowhere, and it came and stopped. So we have first-person accounts talking about which dovetails perfectly with the laser technology, that if you Google Lockheed lasers, you will see a picture of them torching a car with the laser through the front engine of the car. I mean, they have the technology. They've had it for a very long time. And we can get into who they are at another time, but we need to say prayers for these people here, and we need to prepare ourselves, and we need to know that besides this, we've had Redding with car fires, we've had Malibu, we've had the Woolsey fires, we've had the Santa Rosa, Lake County fires, the Mendocino complex fires. I mean, this is all within the past 2 years, folks. So we're seeing these big trends. We're connecting dots, make of it what you will, but it was not a forest fire in any way, shape, or form. No trees burned. No trees.
I saw that when you were posting that from KCRA, the footage.
Yeah, they had a helicopter from the local KCRA helicopter, which was above at eye level. You can see it on my, I think 2 posts before on Paradise. And you can see the helicopter showing the storm or what it was that came in. And it's this black, dense, huge, massive cloud. And these guys, when I showed it to them, they said they said before I showed it to them, they said it looked like a nuclear explosion. 2 out of the 4 said we saw it and it looked like a nuclear explosion was going off. And this is what they put over us. And then we also have videos of orbs, and we also have photographs here.
Okay, hang on, guys. So, hey, Mike asked the question, hey, y'all, seen any cars with molten metal?
Yes, and that's what the guy in the tow truck was saying. And here we can see blue. If you can see that, there's blue in the trees. That's the blue lasers that excite when it combines with the dust and the soot of the ground. Lasers are generally invisible. Some are visible, infrared. But the blue can be seen when it excites in the molecules of the ionization of the lasers. And this is the same thing we had reported, the same thing I saw in Santa Rosa. And then here's another picture here I don't know how well you can see this, but you can see the orbs. You can see the bright light shining. You can see the lasers actually going in, and we'll be publishing this on our website. And then there's many other pictures showing.
Oh my gosh! Look at that crazy one.
This is just the explosion going off. This is the massive explosion, and then I've got another one here. Hang on a second.
Where'd you get those?
He printed them for me.
Oh wow.
Hang on.
And the lines.
You see the blue here? Now you see half is blue and a half is not. And I have pictures on pictures on pictures of these blue lights that are, like I said, they couldn't look at it. And then the other story is about this one right here. Where is it? See the blue?
Yes.
Can you see the blue, guys?
And what time is this? What time of the day?
I don't know. I asked them because they're kind of confused because it was. You see the blue on those trees there, folks.
What about that bridge? What about? Okay, wow. It says, "Have you seen molten cars?" Okay. What about that bridge? What about? Sorry, my phone's it's cracked, so it's hard for me to read some of the comments. But okay, what about the bridge?
Well, we'll get to the bridge in a sec. But if you can see this picture, see this?
Hey, Travis.
This is a Kmart. This Kmart, and you see behind it a tree exploding. And this guy was there when that tree exploded. He took this picture. The tree exploded out of nowhere. And he said it was so bright I couldn't look at it. And then from that tree, it went over and torched the Kmart down to the ground. That got destroyed. But the tree is still standing in front of it. So we're going to go and
So
try.
we're supposed to just buy the story that this is a forest fire when these buildings are being singled out and attacked.
And people.
Okay, so this is probably the first tree that we see burning. It's actually exploding. Right?
Yeah. So this is caused by the desiccants. So what happens is, I'll leave the picture up as I talk, but what happened is, from the geoengineering and the chemtrails that they're spraying down is aluminum. These desiccants get into the ground and get uploaded and get into the plants and vegetables and create what's called terpene. And the terpene is highly flammable. So the aluminum combined with the terpene is basically all the recipe they need to make thermite. And thermite, they're saying thermite was used in 9/11. So this is what causes the explosions. This is what ignites them, is the terpenes that have been downloaded through all the geoengineering and all the smart dust and aluminum and the desiccants that have been dropped into the grounds that are causing it to combust. I mean, we know what they're doing now, folks. We have the evidence and we have the proof, and the technology is highly advanced. And so a lot of you are wanting to know what you can do, and the energies in your body are frequencies as well. You need to open up your love heart. You need to open up your way of protecting yourself is to come with a place of love and unconditional compassion.
And no fear, right?
No fear. This is not a time for fear. This is a time of the warrior. This is a time to step up. This is a time where we all have to understand that there's no one else to take care of us but each other. And you need to reach out to each other. You need to find a community where you live, look, touch, and feel, and you need to share. And back to the comment about the burned out cars, there's hundreds and hundreds. The tow truck driver said he's removed hundreds of cars, and they're taking them to these places, staging areas, where they're taking them from there because they're basically scraping, I don't want to say it, but they're scraping away what is not part of the car.
Okay, I'm going to pull up. They're saying they're getting choppy audio. I'm going to pull up my microphone real quick. All right, stand by. I'm getting the microphone here. Okay. Okay, guys, is that better? Is that better audio? I'm getting no sound at all. Okay, can you hear us? Hello? Can you guys hear us? I'm getting no sound at all. If you guys could type something. Can you hear me? Anybody? Can anybody hear me? Yes, okay. So if you're just tuning in, I'm with Jamie Lee from AplaneTruth.info. We're up here in Chico. So the backstory is that they're setting up FEMA camps, and apparently this number of how many people got out is bogus. And the question is how did they get 35,000 people out of a 2-lane road that had no notice? And so Jamie's been here all day, interviewing some of the people who did get out, and it's a pretty sad story, guys. And so I'm just gonna start reading some of the comments, guys. It says, okay and out. Hear you great. I can hear you in and out. Sounds fine. Yes, Shelly, you're covering the mic with your finger. Still? Am I? Choppy still from Joshua. Sound then muffled back and forth. Cool. Like a diner interview. Sounds good. Okay, so I'm getting mixed comments, guys. Apologize if you can't hear this. But Jamie's going to be uploading some of his videos on AplaneTruth.info. That's a YouTube channel. And that's Plane. If you want to find him on Facebook, it's JME space Lee, Lee. You guys rock. Research and report, so important. Thanks, Travis. Not too bad. Okay, thanks, Mike. So do you want to give them, should we sign off now, or you want to give them?
Yeah, we'll publish more of this, but they're trying to silence people. That one of the gentlemen that I was talking to and interviewing, he got a phone call from a buddy of his who told him that the authorities, I mean, again, this is not local police, this is not local help that's helping. It's all brought in from outside. They're militarized people here. They've said they've never seen the military vehicles that are coming here, and we just went by the FEMA camps, all white. They're all hiding who they are, but there's a massive invasion going on here of outside sources, and they're not here to help people. They're not helping anybody. They say they're here to help, but that's not what's happening. They're here to lock things down and control the narrative. So we're bringing the alternative narrative, whatever the cost is. We're trying to bring it to you guys, and we'll keep reporting this because this is a huge story, and it's going to continue on. And we thank these people on these interviews for stepping up too. They've got major league guts to be speaking out, but they're just like so angry, and they're so hurt, and they're so traumatized. They don't care anymore because they said, we don't fear anymore. We need to stop this. And that's why they went on record. So we'll get that posted to you shortly, and we'll get that out to you.
I got a couple more comments real quick, Jamie. So thanks to everybody for your comments and your prayers and everything. All right, so you sound clear to me. Okay, Bobby Smith. Have any of you guys heard how the fires overlay the map of the future high-speed railway?
Yeah, good question. I mean, that's on the west side of where we are, on the west side of 101. We're on the east side of 101. We're above Sacramento. The railways, the 2030 mega railways plans that are the Great Redwood Highway up to Eureka, that's going up through by 101 through Santa Rosa. So that's why the Redding, the car fire, that's why they burned the trucks. You see the logging trucks that were burned on the roads on Highway 5 to say the roads are not going to be good. We're going to have to put a railroad up through there. That's why Governor Jerry Brown just announced that he's going to be clear cutting timber to be renting trees. And then the story we're going to be breaking is about a guy named Red Emerson. Google Red Emerson. He's richer than Bill Gates. He's the largest timberland owner in the country, and he owns all the logging and makes money on forest fires, and he owns the Sierra Pacific Railroad rights and all the logging areas up here. And so he is the guy that controls the all area here that these guys have been saying is a dirty guy and been causing a lot of problems, but he's controlling the whole area up here. So this is about clearing out paradise. There's apparently, I asked them also, there's the Golden Nugget Museum here. Apparently there's a bunch of gold underneath the towns of paradise. And apparently when they're doing some of their deep underground bunker tunnels underneath here, they discovered with their tomography that there was a huge gold mines. So it's also, the California is being set up for resource extraction. If you Google mega dams, California, you'll see there's 5 mega dams that Governor Jerry Brown in November of 2014 said we're going to spend $500 billion to build these mega dams because global warming is not going to bring the water from the Sierras, and they're going to build these mega dams. And so that is part of it. And then the industrial, the smart trains that are being put in, the Redwood Highway Great Trail, they're putting in industrial strength rail lines, not passenger rail lines, industrial, because they're going to be planning on using resource extraction. California is going to be the resource for their next plans, and they're building it out. They're building out the resource extraction. So the story here is that there's also on my YouTube channel, I think it's probably the 4th post I did about a gentleman did a really good research about the history of Paradise. Paradise used to be called Pair of Dice because it used to be a casino. If you look at Back into the Future, I think it's number 2, they got that guy Biff, who was showing, Biff is the guy that's kind of the jerk and Michael Fox deals with. Well, Biff is Trump, and Biff owns a casino called the Paradise Casino, if you cannot make this stuff up. So resource extraction is the key. California is the target. There's a thing called the Georgia Guidestones that says in stone in Georgia there's just 95% too many people. And we can see now their agenda and what they're doing. And California is clearly in the crosshairs, and we need to all wake up. We need to come together. We need to find our tribe, and we need to come with love. We don't need to come with hate. We don't need to come with anger. We don't need to come with fear. This is a battle for our souls. And I appreciate you, Shelley. I appreciate the interview people here for having the guts, the temerity, and the courage to speak out and speak truth to these mofos who need to be accountable.
Well, Jamie, you're the one breaking the story. We appreciate you so much. So Lon says, is there no sense of community? Where you are? Okay, sorry about that. I'm having trouble reading with my phone. Local churches, law enforcement, city council, etc. Who's running things there?
Good question. The gentleman that I interviewed who's growing up here says this is the most corrupt town. Paradise is the most corrupt town of anywhere. He says the same person's been the mayor, a sheriff or mayor, I'm not sure which one, forever. And it's just, and as he was saying that the other three who grew up here were nodding their heads. It's a very controlled area, and it's just there's no community because the whole town's gone. I mean, Paradise, there's no Paradise left. That's why I titled it.
They're saying we're having trouble with sound. Can you guys hear us? I was getting information about sound. Sound, then not. Hit that share button. Can you guys hear us? I think there's a delay somehow. All right, so I didn't mean to cut you off. Low, it says low. Okay, I'm gonna take off the mic. Yeah, the rest will start. Okay, can you guys hear us better without the mic? Is it better without the mic? Okay, all right, so it's better without the mic. Did you finish that thought?
Yeah, if you missed it, what we were talking about is the town is basically a mineral town of gold underneath it, and the people here, the people that run the city, Paradise, have been running it for a very long period of time. It's in the hills, in the Sierras. There's tons of redwoods, tons of logging, and tons of gold apparently underneath Paradise. And I was also relating that the Paradise story relates to Back into the Future, one of the Back into the Futures, where Biff, who is being related to Trump, owned a casino called Paradise. And that they're calling their shots just like they did in 9/11. Oh, here's another huge deal. I have an hour and a half in the can, and I'm trying to recall this stuff. But they said there was, get this, they said there was a fire drill for the day that the fire started. They were planning an emergency drill for all the people, just like they did at 9/11, just like they did everywhere else. So this is one more feather, one more arrow in the quiver, proving that this stuff was planned. Wherever they have these drills, they have the drills, and then it goes live. That's how they operate. So we'll get confirmation on that. We have to do a little research. Maybe you guys can do some research and see if you can find out if Paradise did in fact have emergency drills that day planned or the day before. I'm not sure which one they said, but that's another huge story.
Okay, any ties to, okay, we go back here. Hey guys, it says your state is in real trouble. My guess is that they're there to control the Democrats that are selling you guys out like government, brown, etc.
It's not red or blue. I mean, this is ridiculous to think that it's a red or blue issue. It doesn't matter. I mean, the United States is the military arm. The City of London is the banking arm. The Vatican is the religious arm. There are 3 city-states beholden to no other country. It's not about politics. It's about power. And so City of London runs the money. The Washington, D.C. runs the military. That's why we bomb people every 12 minutes, even though we've not declared war. Every 12 minutes we drop a bomb on somebody. And that's why the Vatican, who has more money than God, doesn't care about money. They care about power. Jerry Brown, the Democratic governor here, Democratic governor in California, went to Jesuit school. Governor Gavin Newsom, the new governor-to-be, went to a Jesuit school. Donald Trump went to Fordham, a Jesuit school. Bill Clinton went to Georgetown, a Jesuit school. It doesn't matter about blue or red. Those are divisive conversations, just like LBGT, just like Black Lives Matter, and just like flat earth versus round ball spherical nonsense. So it's all meant to conquer and divide. And when we lower ourselves to talking about people we don't know, that they have the power over us, we give them the power by speaking about them in power. We have to reclaim our power. We have to become the author of our own authority, and we have to do it in people we can look, touch, and feel. And I don't care who's the president, you cannot reach them. And they're supposedly your representative? Are you kidding me? How do they know you're a representative? How do they know who you are? They have neuro-linguistic programming they put on a TV show that plays on your emotions. Oh, I don't want immigrants coming in. Oh, I want everybody to be taken care of. You know, Obama's going to take care of everybody and build community, and Trump's going to clean the swamp. And then those that they resonates with, they all say, hey, I like this guy. That's so they can control you, folks. Stop talking about Democrats and Republicans. It doesn't work like that. It's money. It's power. It's the men behind it. And so these guys are all planned. Google Heavy Metal Magazine, 1990, and you'll see there's a cartoon, a 12-page cartoon, talking about Trump building a wall. Trump's wall. 1990, folks. That's how long they planned this stuff. I'm sorry, but that's the evidence and that's the facts. And on my YouTube channel, if you Google Jesuits, you can learn all about this. Google the fourth vow of the Jesuits, and they're all connected. It's all. Georgetown was founded 6 months before Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. used to be named Rome, Maryland. The Potomac used to be called the Tiber River. When we broke away from Britain, we chose the exact same colors for our flag. Who does that? Okay, this is how long this stuff's been going on. I'm sorry to break it to you like this, but truth has to come out, and we have to step up, and we have to put on our big boy panties and girl panties, because we need to come together. We're under attack, and we're more powerful than these people, so we got to wake up.
That's right. Okay, so Scooter Carter, hey everybody, thanks for watching. Sounds Agenda 21 being initiated tied with the Georgia Guidestones.
Yeah, I mean, the Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, the mega cities, Agenda 2045, the transhumanist agenda, all of these are in plan. You can look them up all for yourself. The Agenda 21 started in 1992 in Rio, and you can see the stepping stones of what's being played out now. And again, they're very slow and deliberate about how they're going to execute their plans. And so they'll do it when the time is right. And obviously they think the time is right now because they're not even trying to hide it. They're not even trying to tell you why these fires started in Santa Rosa, which flipped 3,000-pound cars on their roof, where apparently a flame jumped 6 lanes of 101 and torched a 100,000-foot Kmart down to its rubble, but left the trees on the outside fine and had to fly through asphalt. And they're saying embers flew through the sky and torched a 100,000-square-foot Kmart. I mean, ridiculous. And then we got homeless going through the roof. The people in Santa Rosa can't move back into their homes because there's benzene. 97% of people in Santa Rosa don't qualify to rebuild because the insurance doesn't have enough coverage. I mean, this is the same thing here. The people don't have enough coverage. They're not going to be able to rebuild. Paradise is lost. The homeless is going greater. And when you have a lot of homeless, the people that aren't homeless say, hey, we need more police because there's not enough homeless. So you bring in more control. It's Orwellian meets Lucifer meets the devil, and we are the light beings. And one thing I really want to give you some hopium on is that when we shine our light in the darkness, why I do this is once you shine your light into the darkness, it is not dark anymore. It is your shadow. You own that darkness because you're the light being. And the darker it gets, the lighter we are. So seek your light, seek your truth, seek your heart, open your heart to this stuff, because they feed on anger, they feed on fear, they feed on us being confused and not knowing. Order out of chaos, order de chaos. They have it stated that that's what they're planning to do, is create chaos. But notice that after 9/11, what happened? The first few weeks, everybody put flags on their car and everybody was kind. Everybody was kind to one another. So in the suffering, we find compassion. So in this time, please say prayers for these people, find compassion, and let's be the change that we have to see. Tag, you're it.
Okay, so guys, thanks so much for sharing. Yes, Travis, thank you so much. Are neighboring towns apathetic, or are they worried? From Lori.
I can only speak from the area I'm in Santa Rosa, and there's a mindset that one of the things that's really important to understand is people that have their insurance that are trying to get money out of the insurance companies. When FEMA came into Santa Rosa, they took over all the insurance. People had to sign over their insurance because FEMA had to scrape the properties after the debris because they're saying it was toxic. So then they negotiated with the insurance companies. They had to pay off the mortgage, and there's no money left for them to rebuild. The other problem is that they can't go there that this was a terrorist attack, because if it's a terrorist attack, guess what? Their insurance is null and void.
Right.
So they can't get coverage. So they're stuck. And so I don't have homeowners insurance. It's ridiculous. And the one that's the military one, the one that I had, the USAA, they changed their coding for who would qualify 2 weeks before the Santa Rosa fires. They're the worst. And they're supposed to be protecting the military people. Give me a break, folks.
Okay. So real news. Thank you both. Thanks, Travis. You're right about one thing. It isn't a red or blue state. Okay, truth, good stuff. All about the bloodlines. Bobby Smith, it's all about the bloodlines.
Yep.
You're
All
forgiven.
presidents have the same bloodline, folks. They're all negative bloodlines. Google it, research it. All presidents have negative blood because you can pass on genealogy with negative blood. Negative passes on, negative positive stops it. So that's why it's all negative. So you can Google all the presidents. It's all related. They're related to Brad Pitt. They're related to Oprah Winfrey. Anybody you see on your black screen, they call it programming for a reason. That's what they want. They're all in the club, and we're not in it, as George Carlin said.
That's right. Okay, it says Catholic Intelligence Agency, CIA. Where are all the people? Any deaths? May Hunt.
Yeah, I mean, if you're missing, and let's say now this happened back in back in the second week of November, and now we're at the last end of November, so we've had 2-3 weeks since this happened. The missing would be known. The missing would be found. The missing would be in shelters. They're not there. The missing is still missing. Why wouldn't they say, hey, I'm here? Why wouldn't they report to somebody and go on Facebook or Twitter or somebody and say, hey, I'm here? Borrow your phone and tell my friends and family I'm alive. That's not happening, folks. They don't do body counts, so we're not hearing about it. If you look in one of my videos about the forensics guy, he went in there to the forensic sites and he says there's nothing to identify. These bodies have been melted to the core. They can't even identify the teeth. That's how hot and intense these torch fires are.
Okay, so I'm getting some stuff about the volume. Is it still bad? Are you guys able to hear us? Is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, we are gonna. So, what's our next step?
Get the interviews out and get that published, and then we're going to just keep telling the stories, and we're going to connect dots and bring it to others so that we can share and understand much better what we're up against. Because until we understand what we're up against, we're not going to be able to plan a good strategy to stop it and protect our loved ones.
Okay, I got something from Tom Oberg. The Sikh community has come up big. The entire town has set up shelters for the people and pet shelters. The Sikh people are good people. I interviewed them a few weeks ago, Tom, when I covered the Sikh festival in Yuba City. Yeah, Yuba City has been amazing when it comes to Paradise Fires. Huge community response. Scooter, hey, I'm not scared. I know that in whom I have believed, no weapon formed against us shall prosper. That's right. Okay, who's leading the light forces in your opinion?
Me, you. We're the light beings, folks. This is the age of Aquarius. This is the age into the minds. This is our calling. This is the greatest in 500 years of awakening. This is the greatest awakening in modern history. And so we all have to wake, and we have to turn it from being awake to being awake. Because we have to go from morning to this is the morning of the new dawn of understanding. And just understand that in the darkest hours, it's the end of the darkness, because light ends darkness. So we have to be the light beings. We're the dawn of the new understanding. We're not going to see the fruits of our labor, but we are seed rattle shakers. We are modern day with makers. We're taking down the scenery, unplugging the TV. We're taking down the pharmacy, and we're setting ourselves free. And so freedom comes from your mind saying, you're not going to be the author of my authority, and you're not going to own my soul. And I don't care what you do to my physical being. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to come back and I'm going to fight you again even stronger. So these seeds are really important, that what we set forth today, what we plant today, is going to bear fruit. But don't think it's all going to get better today. It's going to get worse, and it's going to get harder. So prepare yourself. Get some food in your house, get some water, get some emergency plans if this happens to you. And note that they attack in the night. The owls, the Bohemian Grove, their owl, Moloch. They only attack at night. These attacks started in the middle of the night. Santa Rosa started in the middle of the night. Hurricane Harvey in Houston started in the middle of the night. There's a pattern to what they're doing. They're hiding in the darkness. So flick your Bics, folks. Flick them bright. We're the light beings. And once Lucifer sees what we're doing, he has to run away. And because they hide in the dark, they are afraid of us. That's why they have to hide in the dark. But once we shine light, they're no longer dark. They're our shadow. So own it and power to you. Just let's all be our love light and shine it bright. It's a time of great awakening. It's really empowering, but it's also super scary.
Lee says, I'm scared. Those weapons are bad. We don't have to be afraid, right? We just know, if you're afraid, you're giving into their fear. That's what they want, and that's what they thrive on. So don't be afraid. they're afraid of us. If we have more people who are spreading this truth, we don't have to worry about it. We're going to just keep growing in number because more and more people are waking up to the shape of this earth. And I mean, 9/11, food,
GMOs,
I mean, everything.
vaccines. I mean, all of this is to get us under control. The transhumanist agenda, 2020, biometric IDs, 2020, the GAVI, the General Alliance for Vaccine Initiative. Everybody must be exempted, exempt or not. It's all about controlling humanity. And the Georgia Guidestone said there's 95% too many people in the world. Take that to heed. I went to Georgia. I went and saw them for myself. There was serious intention with somebody spending, a guy named R.C. Christian was a pseudonym, to put up in 1991 these 4 columns, 19 and a half feet tall, weighing 2.5 tons. And the very first commandment on 10 commandments in 8 different languages says, keep the population at 500 million people. And the number 10 commandment says, don't be a cancer on this earth. Leave room for nature. Leave room for nature. So they're talking about leave room for themselves. And they're not including us. So nature balances, that's what she does. So we must be the counterbalance to their darkness. And again, we must be the light bearers and fearless. And the word scare, take the S, which is a snake, take it away, and you've got care. We've got to start caring. We've got to be empathetic. We've got to stop worrying about, am I going to be okay? And start saying, I'm going to be a truth warrior. This is bigger than me. If you've got children, folks, you already know that you have to fight for your children. If not, you need to find ways to have compassion for all others and speak your truth, speak out, share this, talk to people. Don't worry about being ostracized because so many more are waking up. And the other thing I'm saying is, I had a friend, and this is very personal, and I'm sorry, but I have to share this, but he was a great researcher. He and I just fed off each other. I met him off the internet. He had a site called moderngnostic.com, Bruce Hillier, and it got too dark for him. He took his life. And several people at the Flat Earth Conference said they were thinking of doing the same thing because the darkness became overwhelming. Don't let that happen to you. You have a purpose here in life. After the darkness comes the light. Next day is going to be better. Next day is going to be better. Just keep speaking your truth and keep, sharing with others. I mean, others want to hear. Other people are hiding in their own loneliness. They're understanding this, but they're keeping it to themselves. And that's why we have to speak out.
I got a comment here. I'm just gonna. Can you guys hear me? Okay. So, I wanted to make sure we don't lose this. This person said, Lee. Lee said, "Hey guys, it's just seeing the ashes of the fires. Nothing can survive that."
Nothing did survive that. And the other thing we're not talking about is the sentient beings. All the animals. I mean, where did they go? What happened to them? The guys were saying there's just deer freaking out, animals running everywhere. The roads, the asphalt melted. They had to go off road to escape. And the only people that got out of paradise, over 30,000 people, were the ones that left right away before, when they learned something was up and they got out. So now you've been warned. If it happens to you, in the middle of the night, you hear the winds pick up, you see a flash or something, or your intuition starts telling you something, maybe that's your sign to just go and, take a drive, just, even if you're wrong, because we don't know. They have these powers where they can hit any house, they can hit anybody at any time. It's technology, highly advanced. It's Tesla technology. Google Tesla Dome, and you'll see what this technology is all about. They've had it for 100 years, but they're executing the plan now. This is World War III, and Google Albert Pike and the 3 World Wars. He's the Freemason that's buried in the Freemasonic Temple, the Scottish Rite Freemason Temple in Washington, D.C. His tomb, he's buried in there. So he's a significant part of the whole Washington, D.C. military operation. And here's another thing, one more thing about why I said about Washington. There's no one listening here, unfortunately, I'm sorry, but no one can tell you the date that Washington, D.C. was founded. February 21st, 1871, the Organic Act, they created the USA Corporation that put us all on our citizen ships. District of Columbia, no one can tell you what the District of Columbia means. It's part of the district of a much bigger operation. So I'll leave it at that. So just so you know, the District of Columbia, Washington, D.C. is a separate city-state that does not have anything to do with our interests. So when you bring up Trump, you bring up Obama, you're taking your energy away, you're taking your power away. That's their power. That's getting you under their control. What do you want to create in your community? Find the common unity in your community like these people are doing here. Find your tribe. And then find each other that are in the water, like the Hopi prophecies that you need. This is the time of the 12th hours. The Hopi prophecies predicted thousands of years ago. It's time to get in the middle of the river with other like-minded souls. The river has its destination. On the shore, people will be left. Leave them. Get in the river with other like-minded souls. The river has its destination. The river has its destination.
Okay, hey guys, this is Jamie Lee from AplaneTruth.info, his YouTube. He also has AplaneTruth.info is his website. AplaneTruth, Plane, is your YouTube.
Right, PlaneTruth.info, and I got AplaneTruth.info is a website, and then also Taboo stands TABU, towards a better understanding.com. I haven't been publishing, but basically the YouTube channel, A Plane Truth, APLANE truth.info, and we'll post hopefully tomorrow or maybe tonight as soon as I can get it downloaded. Hopefully I got the interviews. I haven't checked it to make sure the sound and everything. It'd be tragic if this didn't record, but we need to get this out soon.
Are we able to go to the Walmart?
Yeah, we're gonna go there now.
We're gonna head to the Walmart, guys, and so the biggest story of this, I mean, there's so many parts to this. It's like an onion, but the biggest thing is how many people were in the town of Paradise, right? Jamie's saying 35,000.
No, they're saying, the people that live here are saying it's much bigger than, the official story is 27,000 people in Paradise, and 1,200 was the original count, and now they're down to under 230 people are missing. And they set up a Facebook, which I'm now starting to question, about help people find homes on a Facebook, adopt a family on Facebook. And so that's a way that could be possibly, I'm not saying it is, it could possibly be a way where they're saying, oh, people found homes, everybody's okay, but people are missing. I have people that are missing their parents that are waiting for DNA records to come back. The people here have many people that are missing that are unaccounted for. And we're 2-3 weeks after this. The people should be showing up somewhere, and they're not. And
if there's 35,000 people in this town, there's a 2-lane road. Definitely go to Jamie's YouTube channel. I think it was number 14, where the guy's talking about diet lanes.
Yeah, 14 is about diet lanes, and then 15 is of the helicopters, the KCRA Sacramento helicopters, showing what it looked like, what they came and hit us with. And then we'll be publishing these pictures with the interviews and showing you the blue lights and showing some of the actual directed energy weapons that you can see from the photographs.
Okay guys, so we're gonna sign off now. Thanks for everybody, all your prayers, thoughts. Be careful. Thank you guys for all that you're doing. Try to spread more truth, because these people need it. All right, this is Shelly Lewis signing off. Later.
Bye. Love one another.